Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Giyuu Tomioka. You did not expect to come home to find you fighting a demon, but many unfortunate things were not expected. They just happened and you had to deal with them, and as such, this current situation. The first thing he did was kill the demon, and then take a good look at you, adrenaline running through him, and he was still trying to calm down, realizing that the danger was gone, and you looked relatively fine, not bleeding, nothing serious. It was probably something you could easily heal up, something you didn't have to worry about. And yet, his heart was beating fast, and worry was etched onto his face. "It's alright, Ryan. I promise you that," he whispered, taking your hands in his own. And after a moment of you just trying to recollect what happened, and maybe believe that the demon is finally gone, you let out a heavy breath and went into his arms, hugging him tightly. "I'm so relieved, Giyuu. I know you trained me and told me what to do if I saw a demon, but it was terrifying," he whispered, and he was just relieved that you were okay, holding you tightly in his arms, a hand gently going through your hair. "It'll be fine now, Ion. I promise you, I'll make sure of it." And as you just stayed there, letting him hold you, you felt a sense of peacefulness descend upon you. It will be fine, because he loved you and cared about you, and you trusted him. You trusted him to take care of you no matter what. And it showed that when it mattered, somehow, by whatever force of fate, he had managed to make it in time. So, perhaps, it was something that was meant to be. For him to be your savior, now and always. So you'd believe him, all of his promises, and right now, he would hold you and keep you safe for as long as you could. Muichiro. Muichiro was scraped out the moment he came home and saw the door open and heard the sound of struggling inside, only to walk in and find a demon atop you, trying to kill you. It took him but a moment to get rid of the demon, and then take you in his arms, looking you over and asking if you were okay. "Oh, Muichiro, you came back just in time," he whispered, hugging him tightly while he continued to look over you. Even though he told him that you were fine, you were uninjured, but he was terrified of what he saw, thinking that maybe things were more severe than they looked like. And so, he kept looking over you, trying to make sure you were okay. But once he saw nothing, he just held you in his arms and stroked your hair gently, kissing your cheek. "I'm just glad you're okay, Ryan. I'm glad you're alright," he whispered, and then the two of you stayed there, in each other's arms, trying to get over what just happened. It was creepy, how life could be so fragile, and so unknown sometimes. If you had arrived just a minute later, things would have been vastly different. And this is something that he was going to think about many times in the future. It was going to keep his mind busy, and it would keep him anxious. It terrified him how easy it would be to lose you. But right now, he wanted nothing more than to make sure you were okay. And despite how scary this encounter was, he will get through it. Both of you will. He knows and believes in you, and knows how strong you can be. So all you needed was time, and he would give you all the time you need. Tengen. Tengen is such a gentle person. He's lovely to be with. And most of the time, you felt safe being with him. But today was a situation you never expected to happen. The two of you were taking a lovely stroll around. Somewhere empty, somewhere peaceful, without prying eyes. When all of a sudden a demon had grabbed you and was trying to kill you. Tengen had ended him in seconds, but you had already panicked, your face pale, and your body trembling from the encounter. And honestly, he'd be lying if he wasn't scared too. Just because you could kill them with ease, it didn't mean he didn't worry about you. His hands immediately wrapped around you as he held you close, looking over you multiple times, checking if you were truly uninjured. You're alright, Ryan. You're alright. You just have to believe me, he whispered, and though you nodded, you were terrified, clinging to him and trying to make sure you're alright. By breathing deeply as he told you, trying to think properly instead of feeling like your heart is being gripped by fear. He let you have your own time, being gentle with you until you were able to calm down. And then he immediately took you home. Of course, the two of you were unable to sleep after such encounter. And then he had his arms wrapped around you, and you sitting on his lap. Him stroking your hair gently as he talked to you. I'm sorry, Ryan. I shouldn't have let that happen. I was right there beside you. And yet, I was useless. You weren't, Tengen. I promise you. And though he hesitated, not really believing any words, he did relent after a little bit. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps he wasn't truly useless at all. And maybe there was some truth to your words. But either way, he's going to be way more alert, at least for the next couple of weeks. This encounter shook him, and it taught him that he should never let his guard down. Not until Muzan is done for. Because it would always be his duty to keep you safe. And he wants to do well on that.